Everyone, this is David Lachey, and welcome to day 44 of my 6-month life transformation chronicle. Again, weather not so great in Houston. Hope it's much better in yours, and that you're making good progress in your goals towards 2018. And again, I always say it, but would love to hear how much progress you've made in the 6 or so weeks since the year started, and would love for you to leave those in the or leave that progress rather in the comments box below. So in terms of what I've been doing. So I've got, I think, 2 leads of things I could possibly do with startup companies, which is great. And obviously, nothing's set, but leads are good. I can work with leads. It's going to be much tougher when the day comes. Hopefully it never comes, but it'll be much tougher to deal with total drought. But for now, I've got leads, which is great, and these seem very interesting. Also picked up a continuation of the Python project I started on last week, so I'm very excited to get back to that. I tend to fixate on coding issues. I can't rest my mind until I solve them. So guaranteed that's what I'm going back to afterwards. And it's kind of a good segue actually into what I want to talk about today, because one of the really nice things of having freedom, I mean, obviously there's pressure, right? But I've had the freedom to do more or less as I please since I left my job. And because I love to learn, that freedom is translated into a freedom to learn whatever I want and whenever I want. And that has really helped me figure out for myself, but I think this would probably apply elsewhere, what kind of the ideal way of learning is. And so I can draw kind of 2 examples, the first one being Python, the second one being guitar, which is my big goal I set for myself last year, was to teach myself guitar. And so what I found is that it's very parallel to what I talked about 2 weeks ago with regards to the weekend. So I'm a big fan of breaks. I think you need to take a break, rest, because at some point every hour you put in gets less and less productive, and it's better to just start with a fresh mind, fresh body. It's just good to take a break. I think when I look at learning, I'm not talking about stopping completely. I think the best way to learn is just to keep a very steady pace, and then whenever your curiosity strikes, ramp it up, and then follow that, and then go back down to just a cruising level, and so on and so forth. And I'll take the example of the guitar. There's some days and frankly some weeks where I just want to work on what I know, maybe practice, drill a little bit, refine, but learning new things takes effort, and so I don't always every day want to put in the effort to learn new things, not so much out of laziness, but just because I still have to incorporate what I've learned before. And so I'll go for a week, 2 weeks, and all of a sudden a concept will come up or a new riff in a song comes up that I really like, and I'll say, I want to learn that. And then I'll go off on a kick where for a couple days I'm practicing an hour and a half, 2 hours a day. And it's fun. It doesn't feel like any type of work. Whereas if I'd have tried to force that before, I think it would not contribute to my enjoyment of the hobby. And same with the Python, so I try and keep those concepts fresh, but I don't actively try and drill every day. But when a new topic comes along, like what was suggested last week, I have to get into it, and I can't stop until I find the solution. And those examples aren't quite the same, because in general, I'm all for a certain low level of activity. I think it's much better, as we've talked about before, to keep doing something every day so you don't lose it completely. But at the same time, that also becomes pretty untenable, because if you're interested in 20 things and you start saying, I'm going to do a little bit of 20 things every day, that crowds out any new activity coming in, and it's not very convenient. So on one hand, you've got guitar, which probably because that's completely alien to me, I tell myself, okay, I must do a little bit of guitar every day. Whereas Python, I've got programming experience, and so it's not quite as critical that I keep those skills sharp through everyday repetition. But the concept is still the same. If we look at the idea of taking a break, this isn't taking a break completely stopping. It's more just going with the flow and stopping one activity in order to pursue another one when the fancy strikes you really, and your curiosity is really piqued. I found it very advantageous because you're working at your own pace. You learn for specific applications, which really helps to crystallize concepts in your mind. And it's just more fun because you're learning it for your own purposes rather than having someone dictate that you must learn this concept, or you're rushing to learn it because you have a test coming up or because you need it to deliver something for the client. I mean, those circumstances do come up, but one thing I've noticed is that I wish I knew what I knew now when I was working, when I was in college, because all these concepts I did have to just ram through to get through a class. I've gone back and looked at them with the benefit of experience, and so I can see things conceptually, I can see them from a different angle, and everything just clicked, unfortunately, after I graduated. But yeah, so just, a little bit of discussion. What I've really enjoyed educationally about these last 2 weeks has been, or 2 months rather, is the freedom to learn what I want, when I want to, in the way that I'd like to learn it. So I'd love to hear how you guys learn. What do you think of what I just said? Do you do things differently? What are your thoughts? So I'm going to get back to the code. Like I said, I fixed 8 and I'm ready to get going on that. I hope you guys have a great rest of the day. Hope you're continuing to be productive towards your steps and your goals for 2018. And I will check back with you tomorrow for day 45. Thank you so much.